All right, in a minute now, we will commence our podcast to.
Oh yeah, it
Yes,
got disconnected.
I think we lost. Yeah, we lost the connection.
Yeah, I just noticed it.
Yeah.
On my phone, like came on. You see, guys are not
Yes,
professional,
yeah.
right? You're supposed to be what they call it. Okay. The guys I want to learn from the U.S. Emirates is going to be here with Duke. I'm not too sure whether Abed is going to be there, but if he will, it's also going to be a fun thing. The guys I want to learn this evening. Good evening from Liberia or something like.
Hey, Dan. Good evening. Good afternoon from my end. I hope all is well with you.
Hello, Dan.
Yes.
Go ahead, Dan. Hello, Dan. And hello to everyone in Nima, in Baliga, in Complete. Thank you again for having us.
Okay, yes, it's been a few days. We hope you guys have been having some wonderful time at the job, and of course, having a good time in the United States. We are here. We're in the rain. We're in the sun. We're headed scatter. We're thinking about where to be going comes October 10th, and so that's our position too. And welcome to the usual program. You're back on Good Shepherd Radio. You are live in the entire Nima County and beyond, some part of Cote d'Ivoire where we have people who can understand the English are also listening from Binta to Danane to, of course, Ma, where we have a signal stopping in Ma, Cote d'Ivoire. So you're welcome to the usual program on Good Shepherd Radio.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
we appreciate it, and we look forward to talking to our people.
Okay, so are we having Emery and Duke on the line? Is after Albert is also among you guys?
Yeah, it's just Emmerich and Duke.
Okay, great. Okay, just to give you updates, we had that was like Sunday. The Unity Party launched here, and it was peaceful. It was calm. They put our own crowds as well, and today was for the CDC. It was launched. The pool also their own crowd. It was also peaceful. That's one thing we have been telling the public through the media to have a peaceful conduct of the election. And I was telling them, thank you this evening because I think we are now practicing modern politics. That is out of violence. It's freedom of choice. And I think we are on course now in bed again. So just to give you an update, that's what's been unfolding in this part of Liberia today. So, what's your take on that?
Well, Dan, first and foremost, let me say that it is always a pleasure to be on the radio station here in Nimba County, talking to our people. And for some of the listening audience that are in the Ivory Coast, we want to say thank you for listening in as well. Dan, look, I've always said this, and I think from the onset of this particular broadcast on the radio, I have been very clear about this obsession with crowd politics, right? And my suggestion has always been to be able to look beyond those, initial, momentum building exercises and just look into the issues that are at hand and making decisions based upon how we see fit and what's, the most important things to us. But the Unity Party launch this weekend is nothing that's off the ordinary, because we've seen that in our body of politics. We saw in the most recent senatorial election in Montserrat County when the CDC and Thomas Fowler had jam packed at the Antoinette Tubman Stadium, And what happened there was that was a show of strength by the current president. But in the end, they lost that election. So it really doesn't determine. I think what happens going forward is how the Liberian people will be able to, submit the votes based upon the issues and who the thing that is more qualified and competent to lead them. But overall, it is nothing. I do know that the collaborating political party, CPP, on October 6th will be, shutting down the entire city. They are rallying the supporters from all over to march on Moravian. So it will be another fascinating event, on October 6th as well.
Okay, so yeah, so our major concern has been all of the events have to be peaceful. That is it, because Duke and Emory, it has actually been quite a bad experiences in our district here, where there have been a lot of brutalities, people pushing one another, fighting one another, debates ending in confusion, ups and down over the place here, people not speaking to one another, and so forth. So, but whatever it takes, whosoever is going to win is of our concern, of course. But all in all, we are wishing for a peaceful conduct and peaceful campaign activities until October 10th.
Right, then let me just add on. This is Emmerich. Duke just spoke about the crowd politics. I mean, I have another flip or side to that, right? Politics, before you govern, you have to have the people on your side. You have to have the mandate of the people on your side. Crowd politics is good, but how many times we haven't gathered together to cheer a person who up to today's date we have gone nowhere. So I keep saying, let's look beyond the crowd. Let us look beyond how many people are going to gather and not listening to substance as real solutions. I think, to me, the solutions of our country is so important than anything else right now. So I agree. It's good to have the crowd, but when I go to a function or rally, I want to hear real solutions. That's from somebody who is experienced, somebody who understands how to change our country around and bring success to the people of Liberia. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to be a follower just following and following. The crowd is good, but we should go beyond the crowd, beyond just the masses gathering. We should go beyond that. As leaders, we should be able to speak to those issues that are confronting our people and give real solutions. That's why I'll be going there to hear. That's what, when I say I'm being in a group, I want to hear those things. But once nothing is said, we can't blame the leaders tomorrow that because nothing was promised to you, nothing was said to you. So how do you blame the leaders tomorrow because you were in the ring, because you gathered there, you're in thousands and so on, tomorrow you want to blame the leaders? You are not willing to hear what they have. Their platforms, you're not willing, you're not questioning them. You should be questioning all of the leaders by this time.
Okay, we not much of that is not going to take much of our time anyway, but we had time to usher them in. I think before the month end, we will be ushering most of those candidates in here for our own press conference and to conduct some interviews to know what they intend to do, what their platform are, what their platforms are, and the rest of that. So we have a scheduled time for that. We're quite sure, but really, we're going to connect you guys to be listening and see if you can make your own inputs. That time is going to be a very tough and tense political discussion where people will also be asking the actual questions that they need to ask to clarify their doubts before October 10th. So we can't go so deep into that. Let's come straight into business. What update can we get from you guys?
Well, yes. So I think I started off, but you're the updates in terms of what the CPP is doing. But before that, we already talked about the situation in Montserrat County and that. But from the collaborating political parties perspective, they are in high spirits. There's this big news that's going around. And I'm pretty sure people in Nimba County have heard about it. But if you haven't, let me say that. And so Chairman Musa Ability and others from the collaborating political parties and the daughter of Nimba, Charlene Brumskin, have made a declaration that October 6th, the collaborating political parties will march on the capital, Monrovia, to be able to have this solidarity end of campaign, a rally, wherein it is summoning all of its partisans, all of our supporters from across the country, including Liberians who are fed up with all of the challenges that they're facing, and join them at the ATS. This is going to be, an opportunity to express that Liberia has been, circled with corruption and a lot of issues that have kept us back, and then to let the people know and reaffirm to them that through the presidency of Cummings, they will be able to see some level of change. So that's the most important issue or thing that's going on now. They're preparing for that. A lot of people in the Monserrate County and other counties are starting to talk about that particular event. So that's what they're looking forward to. And then in addition to that, Charlene Brumskin will be on several radio stations talking, addressing the nation and talking about the state of the Liberian economy as well. And I believe there'll be other people. So that's what's going on. That's the update. People are just excited about October 10th, and they're looking forward to submit the ballots in support of Alexander Cummings. And then finally, one media institution, and along with others, have actually conducted pollings, and they've actually started having conversation. It is believed now that based upon the efforts, the work that the CPP has been doing along with Cummings in terms of the door-to-door campaign, not only is this carrying other political parties, but they're actually starting to believe that he's a legitimate threat, and they do see things moving on the side of the collaborating political parties. So those are all good news. We just pray for our people to remain law-abiding and peaceful, and just to make the right decision on election day.
Right. Okay, now, there has been a question ringing in my heart that I've been waiting for today to come so that I can ask you guys. We continue talking about collaborating political parties. When we say collaborating political parties, CPP, that are under the current leadership of Alexander Cummings, let's get to know how many parties are in this collaboration.
Thank you. So it's a combination of the Liberty Party and the Alternative National Congress. We have been successful in keeping with all the challenges that we faced when they were undermined. They've been able to maintain the structures of the two leading political parties, which is the Liberty Party and the ANC. That's the construct of the collaborating political party, and it remains open to every Liberians. And in addition to just having those two political parties, then what we've seen is that we've seen a coalition of Liberians who see the other two political parties as part of the issues, but they are looking forward to the dawn of a new day in our country. And so they've rallied the support around the CPP. And that's why the CPP is going to be on the ballot on the October 10th general election.
So we want to know, in past few years going back, the CPP was not only ANC and Liberty Party. I tend to be corrected.
So you mean that in the past it was not only ANC and the Liberty Party?
Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah. No, absolutely. In the beginning, Mr. Cummings, being the man who cares about the Liberian people, made an important decision to submit himself to a process wherein, initially it was all agreed that all of the major political parties will get together under a collaboration, and that collaboration will head to what we call primary, and the primaries will have determined the outcome in terms of who represents the collaborating political parties. And Mr. Cummings was always clear that at that primary, whatever the results were in terms of the winning candidate at that primary, he was going to do all that he can to be supportive, and if he won the primaries, we expect the same. But unfortunately, there were people within that initial collaboration who felt that they could not have won the primary against Cummings. And so they concocted a plan by working along with the current administration, CDC, and they were exploitative and actually deceptive in the tendencies. And it led to the collapse of that initial arrangement. However, the CPP still remains because it is the most viable hope for winning the presidency, for the Liberian people, and it still carries the most honest candidate, the man with integrity in this election, the most competent and qualified individual. And so that's what we're moving to with the Liberty Party, the party of Charles Bromsky, and the daughter of Nimba County, Charlene Bromsky, by the way, she was born in Nimba. Those two individuals are leading a new charge to ensure that we're providing jobs and opportunities for the Liberian people. And that's what we're looking forward to in the upcoming election on October 10th.
Okay, folks, in Radio Land, you're listening to Good Shepherd Radio. We're in conversation with Emerick and Duke from the United States of America, who are trying to tell us a little bit different things from what's unfolding right now in Medicare, especially when it comes to politics, who does what, and who they think they believe could be the best person. So the guys are on the line. If you want to make your contribution, you can call on 0 806-167. You're going to make your calls or your questions or your 06167. If you want to be a part of the show, you can call or you can text us on this number, and then we're going to be reading a text to them, and also referring your questions to them also. Now, so I think it comprised of several political parties in Tampa a couple of years going back, and now they are now two. That is the Alternative National Congress and the Liberty Party. So now, what is the relationship between those that were once upon a time a part of this CPP and the current CPP?
Well, Dan, let me say this to you. Mr. Cummings have always, preached a message of unity, optimism, and in using unity, optimism, hope, for the Liberian people, he continues to say this is about the Republic of Liberia. There is an existing issue that the country is facing, and he maintains that he is the most competent and qualified candidate to be able to deliver Liberia from all of the challenges. But we are open. We have been very forthcoming when it comes to building relationships with other political institutions. We have no personal problems with any other person because we're all Liberians. The only disagreements we have is that we believe that those who now form part of a certain group and are trying to replace the current administration, we're going to challenge them on the issues. And the issues here are about jobs. They're about employing the Liberian people, and it's about the issue of integrity. Those are the things we're speaking to, in addition to providing solutions and telling the people how we intend to govern them. But we have no problems with people who are in there. But I think what's happening is, what we've seen is that there's been a total collapse of the relationship and the people who actually exited the initial arrangement. We see that the ALP have released a statement that they're no longer part of the arrangement with the Unity Party. We've also seen that other members or other individuals who were part of that arrangement that actually exited said that they were distancing themselves. In addition to that, it was actually stated during two press conferences that the ALP was used as a vacuum by the Unity Party, Joseph Boycott, to go ahead and actually destroy the initial arrangement. But with all of that, Mr. Cummings have said, even when he's asked, when he has been asked by journalists, that he holds no animosity to no one. He is only in this election because he believes that the Liberian people can benefit from his leadership. He understands that as a Christian, as a man of faith, whose father was actually a priest for the Episcopal Church, he says that his faith tells him that we should continue to keep peace in our hearts and continue to face every challenges with our own doctrine, our own beliefs, and understand that, look, people will wrong you in this life. It is not about what they do to you. It is about how you respond. And so all of us, we have our faith to understand that we're way past that. We'll only focus on making sure we're preaching a message of hope and optimism for the Liberian people. That's all we care about.
And then let me come in for a little bit. Duke, thanks for explaining that. We are all witnesses to what happened in the CPP. Well, we can't. In order for our country to move forward, we have to be honest. And we're not going to cry on spilled milk. We're not going to go back. We cannot change the hands of time. But in order for you to support. You want somebody who is honest. We saw what happened in the CPP. We all saw it. The same court that other people validated, the same court threw out the case and said it was frivolous. There was no evidence, nothing, to in order to move forward with that case. We are all witness to it. So this is my point. Why do we need to politicize the issue of the court? The court already rendered that it's not a case because there's nothing there. But then we see a group of us because we support certain individuals. But then how are we going to get rid of this honesty in our country? If you want to move a country forward, we have to be honest. We have to have integrity. We have to have those things, or else we're not going to go anywhere. So I just want to bring a reminder that it is on you, the voters, today, to sit and think, even if you support another candidate, to be truthful to yourself, to be truthful and say exactly what happened, and be able to know that you have a man who is honest. Because first of all, when that case came, most people went into it, oh, he did it, he fingered the document. But then later on, that was a lie. And then we still try to twist it. We still try to tweak it. So, audience, you are listening. You know the truth. In your hearts, you know the truth. Not everything we politicize. We cannot politicize the court. When we start to politicize the court, it's one of the reasons why investors cannot come in the country, because when you interfere with an independent body like the court, then you find investors get scared. They don't want to come to our country. So most of the things that are happening back home is because of us. It's because of us. Thank you, Dan.
Okay, you guys have been talking reform for a few days now, but you continue to use one word, this word, honesty. When you talk about honesty, let's get the public understanding what you really want them to understand when you talk about honesty. What does that imply to this political discussion?
Yeah, Dan, look, that's a great question. Honesty is integrity. So the usage of that particular word falls in line with what we've seen that has what has transpired over a long period of time in Liberia. And we're talking about honesty to public service, wherein the people we elect know that the monies that they're entrusted with, the resources, the position that they're given, those positions are intended to be able to change the lives of the Liberian people. And that when you are actually given an opportunity to impact the Liberian people, to be able to serve your people through public service, it is your fiduciary responsibility to make sure that you're doing all you can to remain a decent person, to remain honest. For instance, let's say that you are taxed with a budget of $1 million that's given to the people of Nima County, so you can be able to help with different parts of the county, right? When it comes to the county development fund, to be able to change the lives of the people. But you take that money and make it your personal money. You see that people are struggling. You see that the county is not doing well, but you invest with the funds. Those are the parts of honesty that we're talking about. People in public service who understand that public service is not just an opportunity for them to come and to reach themselves, but to understand that the resources given to them is not the personal money, to use it based upon the mandate of the people, and ensure that monies are not taken for our own use. They are used for the betterment of society, that when we leave office, we know that we serve with some level of respect, some level of dedication, and some level of honesty and integrity. That's the whole concept of it, and that's what we're pushing in terms of honesty and integrity, because we think that it is a foundational piece to changing Liberia. And until we find leaders who understand the essence of being integrity driven, we'll always have these issues of inconsistency and disservice to the ordinary people. That's what we're speaking to.
Yeah, let me just add on to that. You talk about honesty, right? To pursue the truth, no matter what you're up against, to always go after the truth. When you're not deceitful, that's honesty. When you say you go into something and you have a framework, a legal document that you sign. For instance, if you borrow money and you sign, you're supposed to pay back, right? There are conditions will say, okay, but you have to be very open. Now, honestly, if you can't pay back, you have to revisit. You have to go back and say, because of some constraints, you can pay back. Then they at least they can fix that problem and say, okay, be on what on what you're saying, or you being truthful that you lost your job and you're coming back to say you took a loan, you can't pay back. We'll see how we can restructure or what we can do. But you can't be working, for instance, making money and you took a loan, you're supposed to pay back. You sign document, legal document to pay back, and then you cannot pay back. That dishonesty. Another thing, you went to the collaboration, the framework that was there. You sign it and say you go to the primary no matter what. You know the reason why Mr. Cummings said no matter what's going to be the outcome of the primary, he will still support any candidate that going to going to win the primary. That honesty, he was very open, he was emphatic about it. He said it over and over. So, but there were other people that did not make concessions. And we know they did not say, oh, Mr. Cummings, if you win it, I will support you. They were always trying to find a way to make it their way. In life, you can't live like that. So you can't be deceitful. You cannot come in knowing that you have signed a framework document to say, this is what the framework document is saying, I will abide by it. But then you go on the contrary to the framework document just to lead. That dishonesty. And we can't have people in leadership with a character like that. It's bad for leadership because once you are like that, people internationally, they are looking, business people are looking. They will say you're not of your words. They don't want to come back and say that you offer them a contract, right? Once you give the contract, then you say something else. They get scared when they see a leader who is not truthful, who is not open, who is not forthcoming. That's what honesty is. You have to be very truthful. You have to be open. You have to be forthcoming.
Yeah, and then if I can say this real quick before you go to the next question, the importance of what we just said is that if we don't pay attention to those things and we don't elect people who are honest, then we run the risk of being negatively impacted because of our decision to ignore that and to continue to elect people who are dishonest. For instance, in 1980, the United States gave you money and said that yes, millions of dollars, over $480 million. We want you to put it into agriculture so the farmers in Nima County can be able to take care of the farm. They can be able to sell the crops during the Liberian Produce Marketing Corporation. You go ahead and use that money. The farmers in Nima did not get it. Today, they are struggling. They have not grown their farms. They have not turned it into successful businesses because government did not give them the resources. Why? The government not gave them the resources because when the monies were given to them to be able to pour into the local economy, into the traditional farmers, they didn't give it to the people. They used it for themselves. So those are the issues and evidences of dishonesty and the essence of honesty, where we would need people who would be able to use the Liberian people resources, right, for the Liberian people and not use it to enrich themselves and then come back 43, 45 years later and say that, you know what, I stole from you before, but I come now because I will be the change. We can't continue to do that. That's why we need honesty and integrity-driven leadership.
Okay, right. You just brought to my attention when I got now our question I say our question is because we are asking you, I as an institution, I'm asking you on behalf of the masses that are listening, so that's what I'm referring to as B. And so what we want to know is, at the time this money was given, who was in charge of this country, and what happened when it was misappropriated.
Thank you, Dan. You see, during that time, the country was under the care of the late President Samuel Doe, and that particular money was given to what we call the Liberian Produce Marketing Corporation, and later on to the Ministry of Agriculture. So the former Vice President Joseph Boyka was actually in charge of the disbursement of the monies that the United States government gave, $480 million for ordinary farmers. And so These are the people who were given the charge, the work, to say, you know what? We have identified farmers in Nimba County. We have identified farmers in Lofa County. We have identified farmers across the country, and we have given you money to be able to make sure that you're buying these people crops, taking it off their hands, paying them for it, and selling it and exporting it. You don't have to worry. Yes, the money for it. So the former vice president was in charge. He did not do a good job. He went and actually, mismanaged the funds to the point wherein the late Senator Ted Kennedy, who was the senator of Massachusetts, the United States, wrote a letter asking the U.S. Congress to immediately halt all funding, right, that was directed to that particular project for farmers in Nimba County. And I think, Dan, we don't want to go back. These are some of the reasons wherein the Samuel Doe administration at that time moved towards taking actions against some people who became very, very concerned about the way in which they were treating the ordinary citizens that should have been impacted from that. As the result of that decision, then, Liberia was actually moved into a major civil war. And those people were never held accountable. The United States discontinued funding when it comes to agriculture. Since that time, the US government have never invested resources into agriculture because they live with this history that the last time they tried doing it and putting $480 million into that process, it was embezzled and it was wasted. And these are the things that follow us into the future, and some of the reason why our people need to sit down and think that we cannot forget about the past. We have to think about where we've come from, the challenges we face, why our parents are struggling in Nimba County today is because of some of the decisions, and we cannot allow our country to slip back into those actions and those decisions of people who have hurt us before.
Yeah, Dan, let me just add on. Let me just add on for our audience to know what we are speaking about. Okay, when 1980 happened, Liberia was going through economic crisis. America came in with the food and economic support funds. So there were two parts to those funds: food and economic support. So if you look at the food aspect, the document that I sent you, page 4, it explains where the Liberian Marketing Producing Company was held liable, and some of the funds too were for military. So we are more focused because Doe was directly in charge of the military aspect at the time because he was the commander-in-chief. So we cannot shift that blame. That's why we have to be truthful. We don't want the conversation to be all over the place. We are talking about the funds that were for food that the LPMC and Agriculture Ministry from 1980 to 1985. Who do you place over there? Was Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boyka was the head of those different areas from 1980 to 1985. So when you look at the report talks about the misuse of funds, because you know the Pusawa rice that we are talking about, right? America provided the Pusawa rice for the government to make our Liberian government to sell at a very low price. So America subsidized that, the food. The profit, we're supposed to put the deposit into what we call today the consolidated account. That's where the deposit is supposed to be made. But the government of Liberia was not even meeting that obligation. They were not depositing. They did not have, for all of the food that got sold on the market, the government could not even give a penny into that account. And then Liberia kept going back to America asking for money. That's when Ted Kennedy, the late Ted Kennedy, the senator for Massachusetts, he said, but we have given more than $400 million and the country is still going through problems. Let us send our team over there to audit to know what's happening. When they went over there, the report after auditing, the report was really, really bad. That is to say, some of the funds that got used, we did not have receipts. We did not have receipts, anything to back up our expenditure. When we were using money, no paper trail, nothing. So who was there at the time? Though, and then people tend to politicize. I mean, when I was there, people tend to politicize it and say, "Oh, maybe Joe about it." You can be hypothetical in that. Whether is the one who's supposed to be explaining, and then you should show the evidence that Joe took the money. For instance, Brady Sanoka, he said Ellen instructed him. Ellen is alive, right? We can easily go to Ellen and ask Ellen whether she instructed Brady Sanoka. But Boyka has never ever altered to say Joe took the money, Joe bankrupt that area, Joe was responsible. He never ever did. Up to this time, Boyka hasn't offered any explanation on those things. So we can't keep going back and forth. It's an audit report. It's not politicized. It's not to be political. Let us talk about the truth. The truth there, we misappropriated, we mismanaged because of the type of leadership we had at the time at LPMC and Agriculture Ministry.
Okay. Beautiful. 0777806167. You can keep your calls coming or text messages coming. We have Duke and Emery on the line from the United States who believe that what they believe is Cummings, Alexander Cummings of the ANC, the CPP, could be the best choice for the people of Liberia. And then so we are in the middle to see that we can hold them to provide adequate information and to justify why they are saying that, of course. So, I see a lot of people beeping me, I can call you, but you can text me. If you can text me on my number that I'm reading, 0777806167. I'm going to be reading your text message to them, whether it is question. I'm going to be posting it to them, and so that they can answer. Now, gentlemen, that's the problem. We are just trying to bring into current days of Liberia the issue of something that happened around the 80s. And we were talking about this honesty. And it has started in time memorial in the Republic of Liberia. And Liberians are well noted for this honesty. And it requires somebody with the technical know-how who could divert or who could change this mindset of the Liberian people. Because when you're Liberian man, when you go for a job or when you go for money, big money somewhere, a good job somewhere, if the person you're going to is not a Liberian, the history become a stumbling block for you to succeed in whatever. So you guys have to also be telling us who your choice is, and if it is coming, set some precedent, give us some examples as to how fair, transparent he has been in time past up to current.
Yes, and I will take the lead on this, and then Emmerich will join. Dan, I'm glad you asked this question. Go ahead. Well, I'm glad you asked this question, Dan. And before I respond, I want to tell all our people listening, please see my response from an objective standpoint, because my response is full of honesty in my heart and the truthfulness and love for my country, Liberia. You see, I support the presidency of Alexander Cummings. And the reason why, some of us been in the diaspora for a little bit, and we see how developed nations have been successful, and it's based upon leadership, and not just any kind of leadership, but impactful leadership. Mr. Cummings comes with a history of integrity and a history of proven practical leadership. This man worked for one of the most successful companies in the world that's worth billions of dollars, who has managed budget that are 3 times, if not 4 times larger than the Liberian budget. Not one day have you heard in the news or there any record that he has misappropriated funds from the company that he worked for. It shows somebody who believes in transparency and who believes that honesty is the way to go. To the point, when he retired, there was a letter written about him and his integrity and the kind of value he added to that company. The reason why I believe Mr. Cummings is going to be different is because Mr. Cummings' right, his decision to serve, is not because he wants to use the office of the presidency as a way to enrich himself. He has already been blessed, as he has stated. And you know what he said then? He said he does not want to be paid or salary as president. Mr. Cummings said, whatever money per the constitution that the government of Liberia have stipulated for the presidency, he's not going to take a salary. What he wants the government to do with that money is to redirect it into accountability sectors that will be able to hold people accountable for corruption. That itself is a message to the Liberian people that this is a man that means business. Finally, then, right? Why I believe that this man is going to be the type of leader that we need for Liberia. I want to take your mind back to something important that maybe some of you missed during the initial arrangement. You know why today some of the people who were part of that initial collaboration do not like Mr. Cummings? I will give you an example. There was something that happened where it was released that after criticizing the salaries that lawmakers were making, on monies in terms of more than $10,000 or $15,000 was given to each senator and representative. The people became upset that why are these people collecting this money when we're suffering in this country? Mr. Cummings was moved, the only politician that wrote a hurtful letter. In that letter, he condemned people who were supportive of him in the original arrangement of the CPP. And you know what he said? This is not what we're looking for the Liberian people. And he said something profound then. He said, if even this decision to write this letter to criticize the actions of people in the opposition who accepted this money cost me the support, I will live with it, because at the end of the day, it is not about me and the position or the entitlement or my decision to be president. It is about making sure we are showing the Liberian people that we mean business about change. When Mr. Cummings wrote that letter and he criticized those people, it changed the relationship with Mr. Cummings. They exited the CPP. They started making remarks that he was throwing them out of the bus. Imagine. But it came from a courageous standpoint, and it shows that this is a man that understands that Liberia desperately needs honest leadership, and that's what he's going to do. That's why I support him, and that's why I believe then, with all my heart, the truthfulness in my heart, that this man's going to transform Liberia like we've never seen before.
Yeah, Dan, let me just, I would not want to go all over what Duke just said, but let's go back. If you look at one of the reasons why Cummings lost his support for someone like DeLong, it's very simple, right? Cummings criticized DeLong, like Duke just said, about the money that was doled out to the legislature. I mean, the Senate and the representatives, right? In the House of Representatives, in the House of Senate. Mr. Cummings criticized that, and DeLong did not like it. But this is how Mr. Cummings is. When something is wrong, he would rather lose his support from youth and stand with what's right. And that's one of the reasons why he stands out amongst those that are in the race. Mr. Cummings is not afraid to lose his support for standing up for what's right. The only reason why he's not depending on the presidency to have a life. He wants to use it to impact the lives of people. And apart from that, people say, but why can't he do it without the presidency? Look, if you understand leadership, if you understand our country, if you understand our culture, the only way you can impact almost everyone, is through the leadership of our country, where you can use the laws, you can use the policies to impact everyone. It's not easy. It's almost impossible. Mr. Cummings does not have the resources. Even Bill Gates in America, as rich as Bill Gates, right? He cannot be able to meet the demands of the whole country, because resources, in the economics, resources are limited. So if you look at Mr. Cummings, people say, but why can't he do those things? But Mr. Cummings been doing a lot. He's one candidate that is unmatched when it comes to giving to Liberia. He's unmatched. The records are there. And you can go back and research all of those things, like the scholarships that he's given in Liberia and abroad. Over $2 million of funds to support Liberia. He leveraged, his position to get money for Liberia. Even the water projects and so that he worked with a lot of different organizations. The STEM program. STEM, you have to know that you cannot move a country without being involved to science and technology, engineering, mathematics. Mr. Cummings was the first person who actually introduced that in Liberia. The list can go on and on. If you look at what he's done for the country, that we have benefited up to the 350 kVA generator to be there we are, we see he's done a lot. That when we start to read everything, go through everything, send you the records and see what he's done, he's not doing it because he wants to be the president of the country. Because Mr. Cummings started giving back long before entering into politics. And the evidence is there. But you see, we have a way of not getting the facts. And I keep saying, Liberians, you may elect a candidate, but it's about time to support somebody who's going to bring in policies to impact your life. It's about time that we put in somebody who is honest, somebody who has the knowledge, the experience, the education to move our country forward. It's about time we do those things, because if you just you paying wire fee, all the parents in Liberian, in Nima, and other places in Liberia can pay wire fee if they have jobs available. If they're being paid a good living wage, they can actually sponsor their own children. They can even buy their own cars. They can buy their own food. Our parents before, they did not have to wait for politicians to do those things. They did not have to support politicians to do those things because conditions were a little bit better then. So I will stop here, and then we can take maybe questions from the listeners.
Okay, I'm getting a little bit disturbed here by people trying to beep. Like I continue telling you, I'm not in a position to call, and I can't call. So if you two can call, send me text message. Omen Dan Gateway also beat me. If you want to make a contribution, if you can call, send me text message. I'm going to read it, and the guys in studio are going to be providing the answers. Let me take you back to the explanation from 1980. I don't want you to go into any further detail, but where on the internet or in Liberia can the listening audience go to do their own fact checking to really get to know that the explanation you provided are credible information that are on an archive for public consumption, so that it can be because you guys favor comments. You try to give a good side of the story and the bad side of what happened in 1980. So where exactly can they get this information?
Yeah, Dan, when you asked me before about the PL 480 audit, the audit report, I made it my duty to send the report to you. And you know, the same thread, the same email thread where the audit report came from the origin of that report. I left that same thread that people like you can pick up the phone and just call less than 1 minute. You're going to spend to find out whether the report actually came from the U.S. government. The reason why I did that, because everything we say, we want to be factual. We want to be truthful. We want to be honest. We want to be open. We don't want to have an indictment on anyone's character that we cannot support. So you want to be in between us and the people. That is to say, you're the independent person, right? The independent group, the media, we going to, since we have a disadvantage in the country with the flow of electricity or internet, the lack of internet, the lack of having access to the internet, all of the information we're giving you about what Cummings has done for Liberia, everything, we're going to be sending you the information.
Yeah.
And then we're going to beg you to please be able to go back and answer based on the information and answer some of the questions that people are going to have.
Yeah.
We'll be sending you lots of information.
And in addition, Emmerich, Dan, great question. You see, we are not the regular people that you hear talking and just talk things because they want to say so. We're professionals. We respect what we say, and when we say it, we want people to trust what we say, and we want people to verify. For those of our people who got access to search the internet, all you need to do is to go to gao.gov or https the /www.gao.gov, and you will see something called the Government Accountability Office of the United States.
Okay, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, dude.
Yeah.
Let me just hold you. I think I got a caller on the line.
All right, absolutely.
Okay, I got a caller on the line here. This person should be Old Man Don Gateway. Old Man Don Gateway, you want to take part on the show? Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Old Man Don Gateway is one of the elders of the traditional council in Liberian. He's on the line. I'm quite sure he wants to say something or to ask questions. Old Man Don Gateway, go ahead. Yeah, I can't hear him on his screen. But why is all that system is real and then you get them like to sit here on the day of being a far off the time go to a government and I can talk. Okay, you got a quick question, Emily?
No, I'm not getting it. Kind of like distorted. Can you please repeat for us?
Okay, he's saying you have all the fine explanations with all the evidence, and so why can't you come to help straighten up things in Liberia? And you always wait when things are going offhand so badly, and then you come to provide this information.
We are doing that.
No, he's right. He's right.
Go ahead.
I think he has a point. Okay, he has a point. But you see, because one thing that you have to understand too, that not everybody will come on, like Duke said. Not everybody comes on because he wants to spare someone's character. Not everybody. We've been doing an educational program in a very long time on different radio stations. It just happened that we are doing it now over here. But we've been talking for over 4, 5, 6 years. The lack of access to the internet, that's the reason why my old pops, who just called, right? He's able to hear us because we were trying to make inroads in these areas. You see, I sent you a picture today, right? If you check it, I sent you a picture of Brother Khan, okay? The late Brother Khan, my uncle, and myself. You know the reason why I sent you the picture? Because these were things that we discussed when he was over here in America. I went to see him in Philadelphia. We discussed these things to see how we can come to the schools. Since 2018, when I met him in Philadelphia, 2018, okay, 2018, the picture was taken. We discussed how we're going to educate our people, but it happened that there was a disconnect when he went back. So the educational program is not only today, not for tomorrow. It's going to be perpetual. It's going to be now, but it just happened that he just coming across us. But we've been talking for so long, even before 2017. Before 2017's election, we were around talking.
Yeah.
But we did not have the right platform. I've been in touch with Mr. James Matade from Crown Radio, asking. It's been a while since I've been asking to see if we can have a program. It never happened. Yeah. But we have the opportunity to explain on Good Shepherd. That's the reason why we are on.
Yeah.
But we've been negotiating to see how we could channel and tailor the message ever since. Yeah. So thank you for your question.
And you know, Dan, let me say in this public manner to the chief, the elder man, that I appreciate you, Awapa. You know, we're your children, and something to you. Yeah.
He's back on the line.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see where you get it.
Okay, he's back on the line. Okay.
You are back again on the go ahead. Okay. Thank you. What I have to say is, through the teaching, being a class of people, they are sitting far off. They don't say you up to get burned down on the ground. You can be workable. Like a car and share off ideas. Take it, let more. They kind of like that, so we can know that our soul has less better. They got to keep up.
So he been there. He been there. He came there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Emily.
I was just in Complete, right? You see the soccer tournament that was hosted in Complete for young people. Even the girl, the youngest girl on that team, okay, she has a scholarship. So she has a scholarship. It got no political ties, nothing. I'm not a politician. I'm not trying to run for office. I was just in Complete. It just happened that I got in Complete. I met with the team, And we organized that tournament. When I came back, that tournament was held for young people to see unity. It was about unity. It was not meant for people in CPP or ANC. It was meant for the whole of Belgium, for everybody to go and be together as one. So I was just there, and I'm coming there again. I'm not.
Yeah.
I've lived in Complete. My neighbor street from over there. I'm not just talking because I'm just talking. It's because I'm from over there. I'm deeply rooted in Complete. Complete is home to me. Complete is a safety net for me. So I will come, my pops. I will
Yeah.
come and see you all. I will see you all soon.
Yeah. So, I want to thank the elder man for calling, and I want to tell him that we respect him and he is above all of us. And we continue to maintain that that's our traditional people. He's the head of the elder council. And when he speak, we listen to him. That's the people we learn knowledge from. But our part, you sent us to school because you said when your children go out there to learn, it will come to make the country better. And I love what you said. You said, but let our children come now to help us. Our part, the world that we live in now, it is a big war. And the thing people doing now, you don't need to always be there. You can be anywhere part of the world and you can be able to make change. You can be able to speak to your people. You can be able to educate them, just how we're doing here today, right? We were in Liberia. We were there with our people. We have been there. We have been helping. We have been helping with hospitals. We have been helping with communities. But all the thing here, our part, let's be honest. I don't care how much we get and we put, we alone can't do it. The only way that thing can work if the country get better by electing the right leader. So because you have taught us, you have put all the education back into us, you have shown us the right way. We learn from you and we see the decision that you've made as elder. We are learning and using what you have taught us to come back and say, our partner used to say the thing before, but now we learn it now. And even we have left the country, we now learn even more. We have to tell you, say our part, they were right. But this time, the young people need to think differently about how we change the country. So we are doing just that. All we ask for you, our part. Listen, you got our young children there, our brother there. You are our elder men. You will continue to be the people that we look back to because of the way that you've actually set the example. All we need is to change the country. And we can only do that by having leaders who will be able to provide for your children and make sure that the country is working for everybody. So we do understand we will continue to be part of our community. We'll invest our time and our resources, but we want to tell you our part. The thing that we need to see change in the country, it will not happen if we continue to do it the same way we used to do it before. We got to change and we got to let our people know that we need a different way of electing leaders. And that's why we're speaking.
Okay, I got a test question. Text message from. I got a text message. The text message is saying, this is why we Liberians, I always confuse, because different people will come with different ideas. Different people will come with different information, and we do not know which of them is the right one to follow. That's a text message from Jeff Cantua.
Jeff.
Who is that person down?
Jeff
Cantua. Jeffrey Cantua.
Yeah, Jeffrey. If anyone in Camden, if you first of all, you have to follow people track record, right? In Camden, some of us were there. Jeff, we work hard. Even my uncle Moses Duo can testify. We work hard. Okay, we work very, very hard. I learned that from him because we used to wake up 5 o'clock to go to the tire shop. We used to wake up 5 o'clock to go sell gas. Sometimes they will wake us up 3 o'clock. Those are the things that remain in some of us today. We are able to succeed in places we go. So I would say, first of all, thanks to my uncle over there, Moses Duo, because Moses Duo showed some of us how to work hard, how to work for something. And then we'll take pay, we'll take our money, go to Darane, buy our little sneaker and take the bluff in Compton, right? That's what Moses Duo showed to some of us. My mom used to say to her, he looked at to other places all over, she later on moved to Sunny for it. So I came from that family, and now my aunt, okay, we all of them work hard. Patrick Tricker, we saw them how they develop income there just for working hard. We saw a same mentality and how they work hard. All these people work hard. Some of us learned it. We used to see them. We used to admire what they do to get up quick. I mean, in the morning, they hanging on pickup and be 2, 3 in the morning for to go from one town to the other. Those are things that we learn. Those are the learned behavior that what got us here today to work hard. And we never ever try to stay away from interacting with our people. But this is the issue right now. It's not about me. It's not about you working hard. It's about other people that don't have the opportunity, that have not had the opportunity to get better. How can we impact everybody? The way we can impact everybody is the leadership. And I agree with what the question asked. The leadership right now is the big change in any country. For the country to move forward, everybody can come along. Everybody to a point can benefit. You work hard, you enjoy. If you work hard, you say you want to be somebody tomorrow. There should be some place where when you work hard, you will see results. That's where we all want to be. We will come back home. We have always been back home. It's just that some people have not come across some of us. Some of you come across some of us. But right now, it's not only about seeing me in person. It's about you listening to me and I listen to you, share ideas. You can pick up the phone. Dan, got my phone number. Look at, you all can call me if you have questions. Even if you can't call us, Dan, I can call. I can make phone calls. If you want me to call you, pick up the phone, tell Dan, say I want Emmerich to call me. I will call you directly and we will talk. So, Duke, can you add on?
Yeah, and then look, I love when our people communicate because this is how we are able to change things in the country. You know, the person who texted you, I agree that there's been confusion because people come with different message. We see it. Our people are confused because people come with different message. You're right. But my brother, let me tell you this here today. The way in which you make the right decision by analyzing yourself, looking at the people who are coming to you, and then looking at the track record. Let me say this here quickly. You see the great United States. I'm not saying everything is all perfect, but there was a time in the United States where black people could not even walk freely in this country because you're a black man. You couldn't even drink water in the public because of the color of your skin. Black people, they used to take black people and put them on the farms to pick counties, and they called them in this country slaves because certain group of people felt that they were better than them. But something changed. You know why? Because the people understood that they were human beings and they were not supposed to remain quiet. They needed to stand up for themselves. So there's a man called the late Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King was able to lead the Americans and black people and even white people. They marched onto this place called Washington, D.C. And he said something called I Have a Dream, his speech, where he spoke about equality in people and recognizing that people are human beings. You see, the decision of people like Dr. King to fight for humanity is why today America can allow your sons to be able to come to the country and to be able to work, to make a change and be able to change your lives in Liberia, to contribute to our country. If this nation did it, Liberians, we can do it. And the way we should do that is not by judging everything, but to be analytical in our thought process. Be truthful. Let me learn with this here. So my brother Wood wrote the text. I want you to please listen to me. Let me tell you the three candidates in this race today. Alexander Cummings, Josh Weah, and Joseph Boyka. My brother, if you agree with me that everything in Liberia today is not working, there's problem in that country, then I want you to agree to me also that the three persons outside of all three of them, there are two people who have been part of government for more than 60 years that had the chance to solve those issues. Joseph Boyka was in government for 50 plus years. And I just spoke about the issues that were encountered at the Ministry of Agriculture. Josh Weah was given the mandate to come and lead his people. And even as senator, he did not change anything in that country. So over this time, this particular period, what is it that we benefited from as a country? Absolutely nothing. Alexander Cummings has not been part of anything in that country. But you know how we know this man is the right person? We know because we see his track record. He has made our country proud. He is an educated man. Not only that, right? But he's somebody who understands the everyday living of our ordinary people. Even some of our people who didn't have the chance to go to school. He says that to be able to fight this issue of the economic challenges in our country, we can fix it by making sure we have people with integrity and fixing the vibrant private sector. So the confusion will always be there, But the way in which you can ignore those confusion and make the right decision by looking at the history of the country and then tying the people who have been part of government for all these times and knowing that, look, we cannot go for solutions to people who have been part of the problem we're facing. We need to look at people who come in with the level of change that we need to reform our country. That's how you see it, and that's how I think we can be able to change Liberia.
Question? The question was answered, but let me just ask them again. Let them give you the answer so that you can also go by. Duke, we got 2-3 minutes to go, but I got a call on the line here. The guy wants you to tell him a little bit about the 480 million time, and he was just asking me where can they get the information? Maybe he was not following. Ask your question again, caller. I'm sorry. You can say I'm about the research, about the issue that I okay, about I'm on
480 million. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to do your research to get a factor story?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's your name? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe wants to get the address. You want to do the research like I was telling you. So he was on the line to do his own research. So don't forget, please, we have 2.5 more minutes to go. We have already gone into the next program. That was what happened because we were late like 3 minutes. So we got 2.5 more minutes to conclude on this program. So, listen, the guys are going to provide you the answer before we close up.
Thank you.
Can you please get his email if he has an email address? Can you please get his email address or his phone number? I will deal with him because I sent you the information. I don't want it to be like, it came from you. Let it come from us.
No. And I can supply them with ways to be able to find it here too while we're getting that information. So let me move into my closing since we are at the end of the program. Then I always want to say, Good Shepherd Radio. I mean, the radio station continues to set itself apart. I think this is the best radio station in the entire Nimba County because of the quality of programs that they're giving the people of Nimba. I can assure you that this particular show that we do every day on Apologetic on this radio station is by far the nation's premier show because you have people who have come to give you the information, the substance. And so I want to say thanks to the radio station. And then you guys have actually set the bar. You are providing excellent programming to the people in Nimba County, and you should be proud of yourself. I hope they give you guys Journalist of the Year in Nimba County because you've introduced something that's going to change the hearts and minds of people in that country. I'm telling you. So, but let me quickly end with this here and give the people this. My people, I am proud of the people of Nimba County better get today. Because if you see all of the people who are calling and asking, they're asking for proof of the facts. It tells me our people are listening and they want to be able to do their own research and make the decision. And for that, I am forever grateful to the people of Nimba County. This is why Nimba County continues to be one of the most vibrant counties because our people in Nimba, they're listening and they know how to do the research. If you're listening to me, if you have internet, please do me a favor. Go online and look for www.gao.gov. Let me just break it down. So www. That as in period, G as in George, A as in apple, O as in orange, or A as in Abraham, O as in orange, and then another period, and then GOV. If you can pull it up, what I want you to do is this. Just go ahead and type Liberia, L-I-B-R-A, right? L-I-B-R-I-A, GAO report, right? Once you type again, L-I-B-E-R-I-A, Liberia, GAO report. If you put Liberia GAO report, you will see the actual PDF of the document. And this document is so detailed, my people. It starts with a perfect description. And it is very detailed in terms of the corruption that happened during that time period at the Liberian Produce Marketing Corporation and the Ministry of Agriculture. We are not lying. This is not propaganda. It is about the fact. In the end, my people, all we want is a better Liberia. And we want all of you to make a decision based upon the facts, based upon the truthfulness, just knowing that Liberia cannot continue to enslave itself to people who are corrupt, and we need leadership who can stand for the people of Nimba County and not exploit them. Because if this money had been used properly, the people of Nimba County in terms of the agricultural sector, the cocoa, and even some of you, we are along the Ivorian border listening to us Liberians, doing business with your cocoa and your coffee in that area, you would have had better farming system because the American government gave the money. But Joseph Boyka stole this money, and this is why our people are struggling today. So thank you, Dan. I appreciate you. And again, you, my friend, will win Journalist of the Year because you have introduced a program to the people that changed their minds. And I thank you so much.
Okay, gentlemen, can I please maybe split second, please, please.
Right. Thank you for having us. Easy. Those of you listening, right? If you did not understand the email address or the link, the web address that do give, just give your information to Dan. I will send you right after the show. I will send you the information right away, and I will say thank you, Dan, because when we were trying to get our people to hear us, one thing I like about you, you created that protection for your listener and at the same time for us. Something that will not be good for the air, you don't want us to say it.
Yes.
Something that will not be good for us, you don't want a listener to come and be able to say it.
Yes.
I like your program because you have civility, because you have honesty, because you have ethics. You said, Emmerich, we can come on air and be bashing people.
Yes.
One thing before we even start, you can always say, you say, Emmerich, this is a Christian radio station.
Yeah.
We have to be truthful. We have to be civil. We have to be respectful. And you know what? When you told me that, when you told me those things, I was so happy. I said, wow, this is the first time I see somebody who's into politics saying or giving a political show to say, Emmerich, you can't go that way. You got to be respectful of all other people. I respect that. And trust me, my hats off to you. My hats off to the people of Limba, Beligan. And you guys going to be seeing us soon. We'll come over and maybe some of you came later on when we left. But we are always with you in our prayers, in our thoughts. We're always going to be with you. And thanks to my elder for calling Elder Dan.
Yes.
I would like to have your information too, please, for us to talk away from here.
Please do. Okay? Please do. We want to talk to the elder.
So thank you, Dan.
Okay, the voices of Duke and Emory in the United States of America cautioning us and providing some further information for our own consumption so that we can use it as a tools to get ourselves prepared for October 10. And more besides October 10, we need these information to also be aware of what have been transpiring in the past that we all need to know, but we never had the opportunity, and the guys are providing those things for us. So guys, we say, thank you ever so much. We hope to talk to you. We hope that you come to Liberia and come back to Good Shepherd Radio with all of the beautiful things that will make us to go worldwide so that even people in the United States can be monitoring. I'm sure you guys have a lot. We don't need to say it on radio. Privately, we've been talking some good things that we are so much motivated, and we continue to also give you the way to speak to your people back home. And we hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday night because it's also it's after 8 here in Liberia.
Thank you, Dan. Good evening, Nimba County, my Nimba people and the elder. Thank you, my papi. I appreciate it. All right. Well, my people listening, this was a fascinating conversation on Good Shepherd Radio, Nimba County. We're crossing across the entire Nimba into the Ivory Coast along the border area. My people, I'm telling you, the power of social media, the power of communication, I think we're doing our job. We're making the case. I said on social media, but I'm working. And I hope some of you can understand the kind of work that we put into today. And this is just one that you hear. Sometimes we're on the back end doing a lot of shit. But as you're listening today, the people are listening. They're asking the right question. It was something. Don't underestimate the power of the PR480. The PR480 is working, and all of you will see that. Y'all have a good day. I need to be on another show from now. Y'all see I'm working. Y'all give me water. Let me drink. Bye.